Okay. Okay. So what I want to make a note of is the next two tests. We're going to have a chapter 4 test and chapter 5 test. Chapter test will consist of 4.1, 4.2. Chapter 5 test will consist of 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. Now, the good news about both of these tests is that you're going to do a lot of calculator work. I would say probably 60% calculator on these two sections. I know chapter 4 is just about all calculator, 4.1 and 4.2 on graphing polynomial functions. Chapter 5, we might do a little bit of algebra, but as far as all of it as two tests, you're talking about 60% calculator. So we're not going to spend a lot of time in class on 4.1 through 5.3 because a lot of it can be done on the calculator. And I just wanted to mention that because the next section that is detrimental is logs. Okay, that's what I'm worried about. As long as we get through logs, we're good. Okay, so I want to get, I think that's chapter 6. I want to get to there so we'll have at least a couple of weeks to go over logs. And then, of course, that last week or two, you can do systems of equations, which most of you can do systems of equations now because you had it in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 or 101 and 102. So I'm not really worried about systems of equations. I'm more worried about logs than I am anything. So my priority for this semester is to get chapter 6 and get it done. Okay, so that's my priority now because completing the square was my priority first and logs is second. So what I want everybody to do this weekend while you're finishing up your test is maybe go ahead and read a little bit of 4.1 and 4.2, just read over it. And a little bit of 5.1, just read over 5.1 through 5.3. The more you read, the more you're going to see that it's a lot of application to calculators. The only part, let's see, let me go back to the syllabus. The only part, I think 5.2 and 5.3 is when we're actually going to do some graphs, see more graphs, rational graphs. See, a lot of this is going to be probably 5.3 is where you're going to see the algebra. But all this and long division, I got to show you how to do that by hand. And the rest of it, 4.1, 5.1, 5.2, those are a lot of graphing applications with the calculator. So just wanted to let you know. And of course, a majority of the rest of the semester, we're going to be on 6. Okay. And then, of course, systems of equations, you're only talking about maybe 3. I don't cover that one. We might cover it if we have time. But most of you already know how to do 7.1, which, you know, if we get to 7.1, that'll be what you have the test on the last day of class. So whatever we cover up until the last day of class is what you're responsible for. So we're going to try to get through it. All right, so with that being said, let's get back to the test that I pulled up, and I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can, try to finish it this time. Assignment manager, and I'm not going to do the bonus questions. We're just going to do, and if I've already done 2 or 3 complete the squares, I'm going to keep on going because I don't need to spend time doing stuff I did last time. I think we did about 4 or 5 completing the squares last time. So let's see what we got. Okay, so we're going to skip that. We're going to skip that. Skip that. Okay, this one's pretty simple. It just says find the x-intercepts. So we're going to find the x-intercepts. Let me get my do-jigger set up. I'll just set it like right there. All right, so this is going to be x squared minus 6x plus blank is equal to 4 plus blank. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. X minus 3, quantity squared, is equal to 13. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 3 is equal to positive or negative 13. X is equal to positive or negative 13, plus 3. So that would be positive square root of 13 plus 3, comma, negative square root of 13 plus 3. Actually, the negative is supposed to go first because we read from left to right. So I'm going to type that in. So negative square root of 13 plus 3, comma, make sure you hit the right arrow, comma, and then the square root, or positive square root of 13, oh shoot, plus 3, and make sure you get out of the radical. Let me go back over here. Square root of 13, right arrow, plus 3. And that should be the correct answer. See, if you type it in the way they want it, you won't have any problems. Don't get lazy on me typing in the answers. Okay, I think we left off with one like this one, didn't we? Wasn't this the last one we did or was trying to do? 2 minus 4i. Yeah, Hubert, I remember that. Thank you, class. I appreciate y'all being interactive. It's always good to have an interactive class. And y'all just have got to use the chat, which I know I can't see unless I switch to it. Okay. So 2 minus 4i minus 3 minus 5i, 4 minus I. And now combine like terms. 2.
You've got it underneath the other screen. I can't see what you're writing.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, 2 minus 3 plus 4. So you have $2. You subtract, you owe $3, so you still owe $1. And you owe $1, you have 4, you have $3. You owe $4, you owe $5, you owe $9, you owe another $1, you owe $10. It should be, and they want it in the form 3 minus 10i. So you put it in that form, 3 minus 10i. This is in the form a plus bi. Sorry. Well, I'm trying to get everything in, and it's kind of, there you go. Next. Solve by completing the square. Solve means find the x-intercepts. 2x squared minus 5x plus blank is equal to 17 plus blank. Factor out of 2, x squared minus 5 halves plus blank is equal to 17 plus 2 times blank. And yes, I'm going to get my highlighter out. Whatever you factor out, you have to multiply by that right side blank. And 5 halves, I'm going to do the, in orange, I'm going to put a baby step in here for you. 5 halves divided by 2 raised to the second power. 5 halves multiplied by 1/2 raised to the second power. 5 over 4 raised to the second power. What is that for? Is equal to 25/16. Sorry. All right, finish. I'm not going to say a word. 25 over 16. 25 over 16. And that's going to make us 2x minus 5/4 quantity squared is equal to, I'm going to go over here and do another color. I'm going to do green. That 2 will cancel that to be an 8. Somebody multiply 8 times 17 for me, please. 8 times 17, please.
136.
136 over 8. Plus, and what does that come out to be? 13, 14, 15, 161 over 8. Y'all check my math. Phew. That Sharpie smells funny.
161 over 8.
Okay. So now we're ready to divide by 2. And we get 2x minus 5/4 quantity squared is equal to 161 over 16. And that black one is dead. Take the square root of both sides. X minus 5/4 is equal to the square root of 161 over 4. And x is equal to positive or negative square root of 161 plus 5 over 4. On an exact means with the radical. So that means I'm going to use the fraction bar, and I'm going to put negative square root. Now I'm assuming that 161 is not a perfect square, so I'm not going to try to reduce it. 161 plus 5 divided by 4. And then move to the right, comma, and put another fraction, square root of 161 plus 5 divided by 4. That should be your answer. Did you eat your eggs? Okay. Next. And that's a bonus question. Okay. 5x squared plus x plus blank is equal to 4 plus blank. Factor out of 5. I'm going to put a baby step in here. I'm going to divide 1/5 by 2. Square it. Sorry. And that's going to give me 5 times x plus 1/10. So the second power is equal to, well, that 5 will go into that 120 times. And 80/20. So that's going to be 80/20 plus 1/20. Oh my gosh, they're going to give us, yep, they're going to give us a perfect square. 5 times x plus 1/10. 81/20. Divide by 5. Multiply by 5th. X plus 1/10 is equal to 81/100. Take the square root of both. X plus 1/10 is equal to positive or negative 9/10.
You have a work
X is
email.
equal to positive or negative 9 minus 1/10. Positive 9 minus 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8/10 is 0.8. Negative 9 minus 1 is negative 10/10 is -1. So that should be your 2x intercepts. Now, since you don't have a radical, it's not exact, so, excuse me, these are your two answers. 0.8 or -1, comma, 0.8. They might want parentheses around it, but they got braces, so that's it. Just for giggles, make sure you understand where everything comes from. There it is. How we doing? Everybody doing good? Let's see who's in here now. Oh, we got 11. Ooh, 11. 11 people. All right, next. United States. 0. Okay, conjugate. I think we were starting on one of these. Y'all remind me. I think I started you. 18 plus 3i over 18 minus 3i. Right now, the radical is where? You got a radical in the numerator and the denominator. But I don't care about the the numerator. I care about the denominator. I do not want a radical in the denominator. So I'm going to use the conjugate. I'm going to multiply both sides by 18 plus 3i, which is the conjugate of 18 minus 3i. And that's 18 plus 3i. So I'm multiplying by a factor of 1. 18 over 3i, 18 plus 3i over 18 plus 3i is 1. Now, in the bottom, we got shortcut number 3, which is 18 squared minus 3i squared. All over whatever this comes out to be. That's 18 plus 3i quantity squared, and of course that's shortcut number 1. But down here is what we're going to focus on, because I really don't care about the top. I care about the bottom. And that's going to be 18 plus 3i quantity squared over 18, which is a number, and 3 squared is 9, and I squared is what? -1. This is where things are going to happen. Nothing's going to happen up there except you're going to get a trinomial. That's it. And that's going to be equal to 18 plus 3i quantity squared is equal to 18 squared plus what? Plus 9. And of course, I don't care what that comes out to be. For some reason, if I could quit yawning, I could talk. So that's going to be 18 squared. 18 squared plus 9. I got 333 on the bottom. So that's going to be something over 333. 18 plus 3i quantity squared. Now, you could do the top as a trinomial, which would be 324 plus 108i plus be a minus 9. Yeah, and then the 324 minus 9. Now I'm doing it in my head. 324 minus 9. I got 315. So if I did everything in my head right, 315, I got to go back to plus, let's see, 18. 2 times 18 is 36. 36 times 3. Let me check my math. 36 times 3. 108. I was right. Plus 108 I over 333. Now you may be able to, I think you could probably reduce by 3. Let me see. 3 will go in there 3 times. Yeah. 36. 3 will go in here 105. And 3 will go in there 111. So it may give you, let's see, 105 plus 36i over 111. Now, if I did everything in my head right, which is very doubtful, that should be your answer. Let's check it and see. Now, I have taught one class this morning, and I didn't yawn a single time. I come into this class, and I'm yawning like crazy. What's up with that? Don't know, Hubert. Thank you for interacting. I appreciate it. Let's see, 105. Let's do a 105 plus 36i over 111. Okay, so we must divide something else into that. Y'all check my math and make sure I didn't make a mistake. Oh, I know what it is. I got to put it in the form a plus bi. They want two separate fractions. This sucks. Okay, so that's going to be 105 over 111. Let me go back. 105 over, 105, I can't type, I can't talk, over 111 plus brackets, 105 or 36i over 111. And they may want the I out to the side. Okay, so I've got an error somewhere. Okay, so it is divisible. I guess divisible by what? 8, 4? Well, 4, let's see, 4 times 5, no. 36, 9. 3, 9. I don't know. Y'all check my math. Did anybody get anything different? Are y'all just not going to talk to me this morning or what?
I don't know how I messed up, but I'm not, I don't know. I'm not getting the same stuff.
Okay, well, let's go back and I'll check it. Did anybody get a different answer than what I got? Okay, y'all not going to talk. So 18 squared minus 3i squared. And 18 plus 3i quantity squared. I'm checking 18 squared plus 9. Let me check that. I want to check it. 18 squared plus 9. 333. Let me divide that by, what did they get? They got 17 divided by 17. No. We divided everything by what? 3? So 111. 111 divided by 17. Okay, evidently I've got something wrong with my denominator. And I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute. Why does that one say 16? What the heck? Okay, did I write down the wrong? No, I couldn't have wrote. Okay. Am I crazy
Did it
or
change the problem?
why did it change the problem?
I don't know.
All right, well, I'll do this one. I don't know how it did that, but it changed it.
Could it be the
Appreciate all y'all
problem
telling me.
before?
Appreciate y'all telling me that. I thought my last class was a dud. 16.16 plus 4i over 16 minus 4i. I'm going to multiply both sides, or the top and the bottom, by 16 plus 4i over 16 plus 4i. And that's going to give me shortcut number 3 on the bottom. And shortcut number 1 on the top. 16 and 16, let's say 15 and 50, I think that's 256, isn't it? Plus 32 times 4 is 128. Y'all check my math. And then minus 16. I think that's right. Somebody multiply 16 times 4 times 2. I think it's 128.
I got 128.
And then 16 from 56 is 240? So that's going to be 240 plus 128i over, well, 16 squared is 256. And then minus a negative 16, because the I squared turns that to a negative, so that's going to turn that to a positive. So that's going to be 240 plus 128i over 256 plus 16 is 270. Let's see, 6 and 6 is 12. Bring you 1, 5, 6, 7, and 2. 272. And we can reduce that because they're all even numbers. I'm just going to reduce by 2 because that's the easiest one you can do in your head. 120 plus 64 over 136. And 2 will go into this. That'll be 60 plus 32 over 2 will go in there 7 times. And that'll leave what? 7? No, 2 won't go in there 7 times. 2 will go into 13 6 times. 2 will go in there, leave 1 over. 2 will go in there, 1 over will be 8. 68. And it's still divisible by 2. 60 will be 30 plus 16i divided by 32 or 34. There we go. Now we get the answer. And that's going to be 15 plus 8i over 17. So they changed the dadgum problem on us, but we still got it right. So appreciate y'all's interaction. It's always good to have a class that interacts, isn't it? Don't stay. All right, this was pretty simple. You don't even have to do anything. You know, right quick, let me get. Okay, you know it's not. Let's see, you know it's not this one. And you know it's not this one. Why?
Because it has to open downwards.
It has to open downward because this negative tells you that it opens downward. The y-intercept is -12. But that doesn't tell you anything because that's -12 and that's -12. So you're going to have to get the vertex to find out which quadrant it's in. So let's take our handy dandy and let's do -x squared plus 8x plus blank is equal to 12 plus blank. And that's going to give us a negative, and then x squared minus 8x plus blank is equal to 12 plus -1 times blank. And that -1 is going to be highlighted because I factored out a -1 here. Therefore, I had to multiply it by that. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. -1 x minus 4 quantity squared is equal to, what's 12 minus 16? -4. Therefore, our vertex is 4, 4. So which quadrant is it in? It's in the first quadrant. So of course, this one's in the wrong quadrant. Now that one's an easy one. All right, let's do this one. Well, how did I do that? I want to, there we go. All right, so question is, -7x squared, -7x squared plus 21x plus blank is equal to 0 plus blank. So I'm going to factor out a -7. And half of 3 is 3 halves. 3 halves squared is 9/4. And this is going to be -63/4. And our vertex is 3 halves and 63/4. F of x is equal to -7 times x minus 3 halves quantity squared plus 63/4. Now again, that's intercept form. That's something they like. And we know it's in the first quadrant. We know it's opening downward. We know it's skinny. And we know it's in the first quadrant. So let's see. So it's not this one. This one. It's not this one because this one's in the second quadrant. It's got to be A, and that's it. Now you see why I made y'all do everything with the homework and I made you do all of that stuff, because now you just have to do half of it and you should be able to do it in a smaller amount of time. You're welcome. Bonus, solve by completing the square. We've already done that one. Oh, no, we hadn't. It says it shows the answer. I want to do that. There we go. 2x squared minus 7x plus blank is equal to 17 plus blank. Factor out of 2. We'll have to do a baby step here because there's a fraction there, and y'all know y'all freeze up with fractions. 7/2 divided by 2 over 1 squared. 7/2 multiplied by 1/2 squared. 7 over 4 raised to the second power. 49/16.
You have a work email.
And that's going to give us shortcut number 2 on the left-hand side. And that 2 is going to take that out to an 8. And 8 times 7 is 56 with a 5. Would that be 136? Somebody help me out there. What's 17 times 8? Appreciate it.
It's 136.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Micah. Thank you. And what's 136 plus 50? That's 186 minus 1 is 185. Y'all check me. That's my vertex. Vertex is 4ths, and they would say solve, so they want the x-intercepts. So divide by 2 over 1, multiply by 1/2, x minus 7/4 quantity squared is equal to 185 over 16. So that's going to be square root of both sides. X minus 7/4 is equal to positive or negative square root of 185 over 4. So x is equal to positive or negative square root 185 plus 7 over 4. And I'm not gonna type that in. I'm just gonna hit. Okay, I think they changed the number on us. They did. I wish they quit doing that. Anyway, that's the answer, but they changed the number on us. They changed that 7 to a 9. So that's the answer. And you write it in this form. But the answer to the previous problem is right here. Okay. Next. And communicate. Solve by completing the square. That's the one. I thought we just did that one. Didn't we? I think we just did that one. Right, the quadratic, okay, they want it in this form. I told you there'd be one like this on there. So x squared plus 3x plus blank is equal to -1 plus blank. 3 divided by 2 squared is equal to 9/4. And that's going to be x plus 3/2. Quantity squared is equal to 4/4. Be 5/4. So our f of x is equal to x plus 3/2 quantity squared minus 5/4. There it is. Well, the following quadratic function use the vertex formula to find the coordinates of the x squared of the vertex. Use the vertex formula. Oh, they want to find the vertex. So let's find the vertex. I didn't understand what the question was saying. So x squared minus 6x plus blank, -4 plus blank. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. X minus 3 quantity squared is equal to -4 plus 9 is 5. And take the square root. Well, f of x is equal to x minus 3 quantity squared minus 5. And that would be what they want. And then the vertex would be the opposite of this. And just bring that down. And that's it. Okay, this is shortcut number 2 or 1. -6 plus 8i quantity squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. That's going to be 36 minus 12 times 8i plus, well, it's going to be 64, and then a -1. It's going to be a minus 64. And 36 minus 64 is, I have no idea. 36 minus 64 minus 12 times I, which is going to be, hold on a second, 96. I'll check my math there. And then what is 36 minus 64? Is it -28? I believe it is. That should be, oops, I'm sorry. It should be your answer. You ever have a class that you just keep yawning and falling asleep in? I don't know why I'm doing that in here. It's not y'all, even though y'all not talking to me and y'all won't interact with me. It's not y'all. And no response. Maybe somebody typed something in. I told you it's the Russians. Thank you. I think I'm going to run for president. Just don't ask me any questions because I'm not going to tell you any answers until after I'm elected. So don't ask me any questions. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all have no clue. How many solutions are there? F of x is equal to 1. The graph shows the quadratic function. Okay. How many real solutions? Do we have any x-intercepts on this one?
No.
So there's no solutions. No x-intercepts is the same as no solutions. Okay. I should take that one off. That one's a crypt question. Maybe I should take that one off after class. There's no sense in y'all wasting time on a problem like that. And nobody says a word. The position of an object moving. Let's not be hasty. The position of an object moving in a straight line is given by blah, 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 where S is in meters and T is in time. How long okay. Position of an object moving in a straight line is given by 2t. S is equal to 2t squared minus 3t. Where S is in meters, S is equal to meters, and T, of course, is time. How long to the nearest tenth will it take the object to move 20 meters? Well, basically, just see 20 meters is I believe you would just find the intersection point. Looks like to me you would. S 2t minus 3t. And it's skinny.
We can't
Because
see your
it's 2.
paper.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, sorry.
We can't see your paper.
Okay. And you're going to set it equal to 20. This one is probably the one you're going to want. Why do I want this one? Why do I want that dot right there?
Because it has to be positive.
It has to be positive because you're talking about time. Now, if we could go back in time, what would you do differently? Anybody want to answer that? If I could go back in time, I would go back to the 7th and 8th grade and drop my algebra teacher. because if that algebra teacher, if I had not had that algebra teacher, I probably would have done a whole lot better in high school. I would have studied more too. And then I would buy Bitcoins, which I still don't understand that. I mean, I don't. I buy stock, but I just don't understand that Bitcoin thing. It makes sense to me. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and graph. This is a graphing drill. So I'm going to do graph y is equal to 2x squared minus 3x. And graph it, and then I'm going to graph y is equal to, what was it, 20? Was 20, right? Zoom fit. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it. That's just not cooperating, so I'm going to do a zoom box. Oh, come on. Zoom box. And there's the intersection point right there you want. So I'm going to hit second, trace, intersection. Yes, that's the first curve. That's the second curve. And my guess is going to be right there. So at 4 seconds. At 4 seconds, your answer is you're at 20 meters or whatever. At 4 seconds. And that's your answer. Next, if an object is thrown upward with initial velocity of 96 feet per second, its height after t seconds is given by blah, blah, blah. H is equal to 96t. H is equal to 96t minus 16t squared. Find the vertex. Well, it doesn't say that, Hubert. Yeah, it does. What is the vertex? It's your highest or your what? Vertex is the highest or the what?
Or the lowest.
Lowest, depending on concave up or concave down. So when they say max or min, they want you to find the vertex. So I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator. Yeah, go ahead. Have you already been counted here this week, Ms. Boatwright? If you have, go ahead. So y is equals to class over with. What time's class over? Oh, shoot. We're over. Okay. Well, y'all see, I'm about done. That's the same type question. Find the vertex. This one is shortcut number 2, and then distribute the I. This one is multiple choice. You know it's negative, so it's not this one, and it's not this one. So it's find the vertex, and or you could graph it, and it will graph it on your calculator, and it will tell you. And that's completing the square. Make sure you put it in terms of X and Y. And the last one, last couple, same thing. We did one of those, same thing. And that's equal to 100. So let's finish up with the roll. Let me see who's here. I'll try to hurry. Sorry, I kept y'all. Attendance tracker. Let me hit that and turn off the recording.